I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Alvazar,
Here.
Mr. Esquaga,
Here.
Chair Bybee,
Here.
Mr. Chapman, I'm sorry, Mr. Long,
Here.
my apologies. Mr. East,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Mr. J,
Present.
Mr. Murdoch,
Here.
and Mayor Sheedy.
Here.
You have a form.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item B, comments from the floor by the public. Do we have public comment?
Not at this time.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close item B. Moving on to item C, consent agenda. Looking for a motion to accept, or if you want to remove a consent agenda item, looking for a motion.
Move to accept as presented.
I have a motion from Mr. J. Second from Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item D, executive updates. We haven't had one of these in a couple months, so I'm excited to hear from all of our department heads with an update. Mr. Logetta, you want to kick us off?
Yes.
Thank you.
Morning. For the record, Mike Larragetta. First of all, I'd like to say it's great to be back. Thank you. Nice to see everybody. I want to advise the board today, first of all, that the executive update is not in the level of detail that we normally do. This was put on the agenda in a very short time window, so we apologize in advance for not being able to provide as much detail as we normally do across finance, marketing, tourism, and sales. We do look forward to providing a more detailed update at a future board meeting. We could look at March, April, or May at the request of the chair and setting the agenda, but today's update is a little bit limited, so I just want to give the board advance notice of that. First of all, before I jump into the executive update, I have the pleasure of speaking and talking about our employee of the month for the month of January. And so to give you a little bit of history and background as to how this program came about, in October, we launched this Employee of the Month program called Spotlight. And this is a program where coworkers, colleagues, staff, supervisors, leadership have the opportunity to recognize an employee within their respective areas based on going above and beyond their performance and what they have done to be recognized. And once these applications are submitted, it then goes to a committee that is formed of leadership, representatives of leadership within the organization. And then they make a recommendation, and then we make that award. So a little history. In October, with little notice, we were advised of an employee that made the decision to retire. This individual had the responsibilities overseeing the day-to-day operations at the National Bowling Stadium and the Reno Event Center. This departure required the leadership team to come up with a very quick solution on how we were going to transition to make sure that those two facilities were still running adequately on a day-to-day basis, because business is business and it keeps coming, whether we have people in play to run those facilities or not. So first of all, I'd like to recognize Renee McGinnis, Jose Martinez, and Emily Meyer for an outstanding job in stepping in during this transition time period and making sure that we didn't miss, there was no blips on the radar. We continued to move forward. You guys did a fabulous job, so thank you. We appreciate it. Now, that being said, there was one individual who stepped up above and beyond and took the reins at our request. And we asked if they, based on their background in operations and managing facilities, to step in and basically take the day-to-day leadership role of both the NBS and REC. And they did it somewhat willingly. No, they did it willingly. We could not be happier with what this individual has done in both those facilities. And I think it's important to note that above and beyond running those two facilities, managing the staff, ensuring that we were following everything, that all our commitments as it relates to our contracted business, they also maintained their existing job of booking sports, equine, and managing with myself, United States Bowling Congress account. So it's my pleasure to recognize for the January Employee of the Month spot winner, Rhonda.
Yeah. Yay!
Yep. No shade. You want to talk?
So much.
Thank you. Good job. Oh, when I was back in the office on Tuesday, I think one of the first people I reached out to was Rhonda. And I said, okay, Rhonda, and this is a segue into talking about our new hires. I said, when are you coming back? And she said, 2 weeks, 12 hours, 6 minutes, and 4 seconds. She will be back to her day-to-day. We look forward to getting her office back and getting back into doing what she does so well. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Uh-oh,
Houston,
I'm stuck.
we have a problem. Your CIT experts.
IT. There we go. Okay, so along the lines of the gentleman, Mr. Markwell, who provided us tremendous years of service at the RSCVA in managing the RSC and the MBS, it opened up the opportunity for us to look at replacing his position. And the leadership team and myself felt that it was very important to not only have people having one person with a skill set, but we actually identified 2 people because we felt those 2 buildings are completely different. They require 2 completely different skill sets. And so instead of just replacing one position to oversee both, we made the decision to bring in somebody to run the REC and also someone to run the bowling stadium. So the first individual, we went through the entire process interviewing. We had panel interviews, very thorough backgrounds and making sure that we were hiring the right people for the buildings and the skill sets that we were looking for. So our first new hire, which I'd like to introduce, is Mr. Joel Seidman. Is Joel here today? Hi, Joel. Good to see you. Joel is our Director of Operations at the REC. A little bit of background about Joel. He has, I think, had entertainment in his blood for about 50 years. Joel, right? That's about right.
Yeah, thanks for giving up my age.
Yeah. Perfect. A little additional history. In 1995, Joel moved to Las Vegas, where he became the music director for the Jubilee Show, as well as developing the international ticket market for Caesars, opened Paris, Las Vegas, and Planet Hollywood for Caesars, and developed all of the lounges and booked special entertainment for the properties. In 2015, Joel moved to the MGM Grand, where he boosted sales for the Cost Show by 1.4 million, and then became the entertainment director for the Excalibur, Luxor, and Mandalay Bay, overseeing 5 theaters and 9 shows prior to the pandemic. Most recently, Joel came to Reno as the entertainment director for GSR, spearheading the Lion King and Miss USA television broadcast, as well as overseeing all concerts in the showroom. Obviously, we have found a rock star, and we are elated to have Joel working for the RSCVA. So welcome, sir.
Thanks.
The second individual, that again, a very thorough search and looking for the right candidate with the right experience to run the National Bowling Stadium. The panel did an excellent job, and we're very fortunate that we have Mr. Chad Peters on our staff as our operations manager for the National Bowling Stadium. I fortunately have known Chad and his family for 40 plus years. He's a Winnemucca guy. His family ran the bowling center in Winnemucca, extensive background. From there, he went to run the Boys and Girls Club in Winnemucca, and most recently was the number 2 at the Boys and Club here in Reno. And when I found out through friends that Chad was looking for an opportunity, we reached out to him. I think you actually reached out to us.
Yeah.
I think you did, yes. And went through the interview process, the panel. Great individual, great family, very forward-thinking, energetic, social, outgoing, and is very excited about taking the NBS and finding opportunities, not only new tournaments in the bowling side of the world, but also activation. And Christina's going to talk about here briefly some of the success we've had with the bowling days where we're opening the stadium to the public, but we're also doing this March for the first time, a bowl and watch party in conjunction with the NCAA March Madness opening weekend. And so we've done some extensive work with Spectrum, and we're gonna get some beverage sponsors in there and just make it a really fun venue to watch March Madness, which for all of us basketball fiends is basically Thursday through Sunday, the second weekend in March, the third weekend in March of nonstop basketball from 9 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. So good luck with that. Chad, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And then certainly, last but not least, our third new hire, which if you all recall at the request of the board, we created the new special events fund in the amount of $500,000. And there's been a lot of discussion within this organization, this board, of identifying an individual who can go out and really find us new events. And those events are predominantly looking at anchors in food and beverage, arts and culture, sports, and music. And so we went through a pretty extensive process of identifying candidates, interviewing candidates. And again, the lucky stars were shining on us, in that this individual was identified, and some friends of mine from my former hospitality life in Las Vegas reached out and told me that this individual, who had worked at the RSCVA for 16 years, was looking to get back into the industry and the market, and obviously had a tremendous amount of suitors in Las Vegas. And I think the one thing I proved to myself is I can still sell, because somehow I got her to think about coming to Reno and looking for us. So a little bit of background on Valerie Segarra, and her accolades are tremendous, but I just want to provide the board some highlights. In some of her responsibilities in her 16 plus years at the LVCVA, she was responsible for strategic planning and development of the LVCVA goals to address advocacy issues and impact growth in the travel and tourism industry. She spearheaded the formation of the event design department and led the team in planning and execution of more than 150 events annually. She led planning efforts of major destinations-wide events, including the 2020 NFL Draft, the 2016 Final Presidential Debate, the 2014 Destination International Annual Convention, the 2013 World Routes Development Forum for us airline junkies, the 2012 grand opening of Terminal 3, the Las Vegas Airport, and the 2011 World Travel and Tourism Council Global Travel and Tourism Summit. Obviously, those accolades speak for themselves. We're very happy to have Valerie on our team. Valerie, welcome to the RSCVA. With that, that concludes my update. I will be handing the clicker over to Christina to talk about things in the marketing world, and then we will continue through Trent, Art, and Courtney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So as Mike mentioned, one of the main initiatives we've all been working on, this has been not just in the marketing department, but across all the departments. So if anyone else has anything to provide to what I'm sharing today, please just speak up. But public bowling days, we are so excited that they're happening. This new initiative launched in November, and we are having once a month public bowling days at the National Bowling Stadium. So far, we've held 3 events, and 109 lanes have been booked with over 450 bowlers. Most excited to share that all of our proceeds are then donated to local charities. And the momentum that we continue to garner from these events is just tremendous. If you haven't had a chance to attend one of our public bowling days, there will be one this Sunday. And as of yesterday morning, I believe it was 46 lanes were already booked. So if you want your lane, get it booked now. If you're not able to make that one, as Mike mentioned, we will also be doing another event in March. Basketball is what we're going to be calling that one. So look forward for those, and we're really excited to have those as new initiatives. Before I play this recap video, this was our last public bowling day event, Art Bowl. And I just wanted to provide a little bit of context around it. We partnered with Sierra Arts Foundation. We had 29 local artists in the bowling stadium selling their artwork on that main level throughout this event. And simultaneously, we ran in partnership with Sierra Arts Foundation a mural contest to commission a mural to go up in our convention center. And 13 local artists submitted. Sierra Arts Foundation helped us narrow it down to 3 finalists. And we are currently reviewing the work of the 3 finalists to select our winner to go and paint their mural in that main area of the convention center. And we're really hoping to grow and expand this program to bring art into our venues. And We're planning on having this mural completed, hopefully by the time volleyball comes into the convention center. So it can be a photo op for attendees, participants, not only bringing awareness of our venues, but also our vibrant arts community here in Reno Tahoe. So without further ado, I'll share this little recap video of the Art Bowl. It's really great to see everyone come out for these events, whether we have former professional bowlers who have attended every single event we've had, to just people coming out with their friends and family and having a good time on a weekend afternoon. And everyone's just excited that it's open up to the public, because many of them have never seen the inside of this facility before. Next up, starting today, we have our winter media fam in town. They arrived today off the heels of our fresh snow earlier this week, and then it is blue skies, I believe, out there still. So what perfect timing to have. We have 4 journalists in town for the next few days. Here's just a couple of the publications that they represent. And they're covering everything from winter activities to our museums to our dining and city life. So we're excited to see what comes out of the fam that's in town currently. And then lastly, for marketing, quick update is that we recently won a couple of awards. I'm sure you guys remember our Leave No Trace partnership. This was the partnership that expanded from the lake through Reno, Sparks, all the way out to the Black Rock Desert around sustainability and the importance of keeping our community clean and being a mindful traveler. That won a gold award at the AVA Awards. Our GQ partnership, we partnered in bringing in an influencer. They highlighted gaming and our outdoors and our downtown. That also won a gold. And then our No Limits campaign that we just launched this winter, we're excited to see that it already won a platinum award for its creative. So it's nice to see that not only are they performing well, but they're also getting recognized on the national level. And that's all I have for you.
Oh, thank you. Quick question.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love this basketball bowling thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's better than March Madness? I think that just sums up right there. But what can we do, and I know you do a great job already getting all this out to the media, but what can we do to get even more of it out there? I know we're on social media, but can we as board members push that out more ourselves? Can we how can we get our message out there more? Because I think it's such a good message, and I don't think it gets out there enough.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to share it, we have graphics that we are happy to share with the board. If you guys want to send it out to your audiences, we promote it through our community newsletter. We send out a press release to the local media. We promote it on our social media channels, not only the Reno Tahoe social media channel, but we also have the Reno Events social media channel, which is what we use as the primary channel for events at our venues. And then we just word of mouth is really what's helping this truly grow, I would say. But I mean, we welcome everyone to invite their friends and family. It's once a month, and we will be taking a break while USBC is in town, but as soon as, just because the facility is obviously booked, but we'll be starting it back up later this year after March. But appreciate any help in getting that word out, and I'm happy to share graphics and information.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Murdoch.
Christina, when is what bowlers are there?
What?
I knew that. I see, are we going out and telling everybody in the world that the bowlers are coming,
Yes,
are coming?
Absolutely. We've already been working very closely with USBC to get all of our collateral and promotional
Are
materials
we
out.
going to do a big fanfare for the bowlers at the airports and everywhere?
We've already met with the airport. We've done a walkthrough at the airport. So thank you to the airport for welcoming us. We did that last week, and
They're important to the economy.
absolutely.
To everybody, airlines, the restaurants, everybody gets a piece of this pie, so
Absolutely. It's big business for us. Yeah.
thank you. Make sure we're telling everybody too, and Reno that it, given the economic impact that it brings.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Christina, what are those dates again for the women bowlers?
They come in, they got pushed out a couple weeks. They are in mid-April. The exact
Yeah,
date. Mike.
I don't know the exact date of the start, but it is mid-April through the first week of July. Basically.
Mhm.
And the women are, for all you that are in the gaming world, they like slot machines, by the way.
Are you setting up extra banks?
Christina, can we use our economic impact partners to do a nice evaluation of, the bowlers while they're in town?
That's a great idea. Yeah,
For good
absolutely.
numbers, fresh numbers for the community. I don't think people realize
That's
that.
great.
Yeah,
And I might add for our friends in Tahoe, that bowlers don't stay in one place. They're here usually 3.5 days. And they travel and they drive up, and it's good business in the shoulder season from April through, because, our summer hasn't started yet, and they kind of leave when summer starts in Reno, Tahoe. So hopefully everybody knows the bowlers are coming, because they do side trips. They love it. They've been around. They want to go
they
see
take over
things.
the town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're good?
You're good, we go Trent.
Trent LaFerrier for the record is VP of Facilities, and mine's not quite as glamorous as the marketing and sales, but we'll go over a few projects that we've completed at the different properties. So at the convention center, this one's minor. We just did some refresh on the concession B area that had kind of a ugly green, and now it's white to go in with the rest of it, and that is kind of a prelude to Aramark finishing up their modifications to the concession areas. We have a truck gate over on Peckham that is normally closed and it wasn't operating right, so we have that rebuilt and repaired. That allows our delivery trucks, if we have a real heavy move in or load out, that they can get in and out easier. Normally it's closed for safety reasons. We just received 12 new metal detectors and wands for the convention center, and that will, obviously from a safety standpoint, when we have big events, concerts, etc. Over at the Livestock Event Center, we just replaced not a lot of flooring, but in key areas in the main office and the show offices, and our staff completed that job, so we saved quite a bit of money. We also have installed a camera system over at Livestock Event Center that's kind of long overdue, and it's a nice upgrade to that security over there. At NBS, we just completed the install of the UPS system that had failed, and UPS is the universal power supply that protects all of the computers that run the scoring system for the bowling. So those are just a few things. I mean, there's obviously others on the list, but just kind of highlighting a few things. Next would be some projects that we still have in progress and we'll continue, like the roofing at the convention center. That's kind of a go around that you complete one and you start the next system. Our air walls that are throughout the property, throughout the main halls, we're having some more repairs done in April to get those running smooth and keep them running smooth. We are also doing an arc flash study basically that's in the catwalk areas, so we can correctly label our panels and keep that up to speed. Over at Livestock Event Center, we're doing the bid specs. We're creating that right now for the message center that's outside on Wells. It's old, it's due for a refresh. We've got some power vaults. Those are the main power below ground that have decayed. So we're going to be replacing those, repairing them. In the meantime, we've got some plates that we put over them for safety, big, heavy steel plates. Down at the event center, we have ordered another group of stanchions that help traffic flow, foot traffic, sorry. The main arena lighting, which is all metal halide and quartz lighting, we're switching that over to LED. So we're right in the final stages of getting that bid spec out and getting it out on the street. The suites, they are coming along beautifully. If you haven't been up there to see the upgrades that have happened to the suites, go in there during a concert or whatever else. And we're continuing that, we're bringing that carpet out into the main lobby. We're also going down into the dressing rooms. Joel has helped us out tremendously with what the concert people, the promoters and the artists, what they want to see in there. So that's gonna be really neat when that's done. We'll keep you up on that. And then also the VIP entrance is off of 4th Street, just to the right of the ticket office. We're gonna do a little bling there with some nicer carpet as opposed to just the concrete floor. And over at NBS, we are going in and we're upgrading the camera system, the operating system, so it's easier to view and keeps it modern. We also are going to be installing a new VFD, which is your variable drive for the cooling systems. And there again, we're putting more stanchions in there because the ones that we have are worn out and we don't have enough. So that's kind of what I have for right now.
Any questions? Mr. Murdock?
Thank you, Madam Chair. How's the sign coming?
The sign, thank you. The sign, we have a pre-bid meeting on next Friday, March 1st. That anybody that is going to bid on has to be there, and this is with the city. And so they will go over it, and then that following week, the 4th to the 6th, they will all the individual companies that, hopefully there's more, that bid on it or want to bid on it, they will be able to inspect the sign, they'll throw their truck up there and take a look at it, and then we'll get it out on the street. So it's coming.
Any other questions?
Be nice to get it fixed before the bowlers get here. You got 5,000 bowlers.
We're really trying.
You got Seinfeld, you got ZZ Top downtown. We might wanna fix these things so we have that message board running every day for people driving down the road.
Exactly.
There should be some urgency here. I would feel that's very important.
Yeah, well, I'm working directly with the city of Reno on that, so we'll get it going as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thanks, Trent.
Okay, well, certainly not as sexy as that. So for the record, I'm Jimenez. Good morning, Executive Director of Tourism Sales. And today I've got a high-level update on tourism sales and what we've done in fiscal year 24 and what's on tap through June of this year. So we developed sales programming that's designed to promote the destination year-round, but we specifically do like to focus on destination and visitation need periods, which are October to December, January through March. And we also sprinkle in some programming to kickstart summer bookings by implementing programming for April through June. And our third-party programs that we work on concentrate on areas that are not hotel direct bookings or in the group space. So everything else, how to book a hotel room, lands in tourism sales. And these programs include FAMs, international offices, partnership marketing, sales missions, trade shows, very important travel advisor training and communications as well. So no one can deny that seeing is believing with FAM trips. We partner with airlines and tour operators and our area DMO partners to bring in clients and tour operators to experience the destination. And we also include travel media as well. So far, we completed 3 FAMs to the area. One was in September as part of the Great Reno Balloon Race. We partnered with Volaris Airlines and brought in some media and tour operators from Guadalajara. We partnered with Northlake, thank you, Greg, with AMA, which is a Canadian AAA. They were here in September. And then we have a proprietary Reno Tahoe experience, which we conducted in October. And yesterday, we had journalists arrive from Mexico City and Guadalajara. Again, another partnership with Volaris Airlines. And what's on tap for the future, we have 2 more IPW, which is part of US Travel. It's their biggest trade show of the year. We have some Canadian operators and media that will be coming down here for a pre-FAM at the end of April. Then we'll whisk them off to Los Angeles for the conference. And then we have a wholesaler FAM planned for the end of June. So as I previously reported to the board, but I'll just do a little recap again. In order to create international awareness, we've partnered with 2 companies to promote us in Mexico and Canada. The first one is Salas International. They've been in business for over 40 years, and our sales and marketing efforts are going to be both in the travel trade, PR channels, as well as some consumer programming. The sales team will focus on efforts in Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Nuevo Leon, which have respectively 39.4 million residents in those areas. Also, SADAS is going to concentrate on promoting Volaris nonstop flights out of Guadalajara, where over 8 million people reside. In Canada, north of the border, we have Canuck Kiwi. Canuck Kiwi is based in Vancouver. They've been in business for almost 14 years. And most of the programming in Canada is going to be in the PR channel for both travel, trade, and consumers. So the Canuck Kiwi team is going to focus on Western Canada in Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton, where nearly 5 million people reside. And also, since Canuck Kiwi works with Travel Nevada and North Lake, we're going to continue looking for synergies with that relationship. So here's just a quick little snapshot of our Mexico City or Mexico activity. And as resources permit, we're going to be placing our messaging with key media and tour operators. And a quick look at our Canada programming. So our goal in Canada is to establish a baseline for PR outreach and media contacts in Western Canada. So partnership marketing. So we develop, again, annual and mid-period programs with these travel partners. Not only do we want to be in these travel superstores, but we want to be on the shelf, in the middle of the shelf. And for fiscal year 24, our goal is to conduct 15 partnership marketing campaigns. And we're on track to exceed that number, somewhere between 15 and 20 campaigns we're lined up with. And again, it's a real top line. I could go in for hours into partnership marketing, but we won't. So sales missions. So it's important for us to get out on the road, both domestically and internationally, whether it's taking customers to the hottest distilleries in Tequila, Mexico, or renting out a suite at Cowboy Stadium, or renting out a yacht on the Hudson River in New York City. We've got to be really creative, especially when we're competing for our clients' time. And we're also competing with other destinations. So we have to make sure that we have the right venue. And we do partner with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority and Travel Nevada to conduct these events. And again, these cities do coincide with our top origination markets throughout the US. And we've got some more missions planned, Southern California and Mexico, both in May, that are on tap for the remainder of this year. So we also attend industry trade shows, both to meet with domestic and international tour operators. And these trade shows are appointment-based. That's all that we do on the tourism side. So we do come back with quality and quantity of leads for our hotel partners. This year, we've attended the National Tour Association's annual marketplace and also the American Bus Association conference. And by the way, the American Bus Association, as you all are aware, will be here in January of 2026. We've also have Go West Summit. It's starting this weekend up at South Lake. We're attending and hosting clientele and media. A Mountain Travel Symposium. We're partnering with North Lake, which should be this year in April, up at the North Lake area of Lake Tahoe. And again, IPW will be in Los Angeles in May, and the International Association of Golf Tour Organizations will be in Michigan, and we'll be participating in that as well. So very important for us to communicate and train travel advisors on our destinations. We have an evergreen program with Mailbound, where we communicate with travel advisors in the US, 50,000 of them every single month. It's important for us to provide this extended sales force with the right tools so they can properly sell the destination. We've also developed training programs. Domestically, we've partnered with Travel Pro Media, which is also a part of Travel Nevada's training program, where agents can come in and complete the modules and then take a test and become certified on the destination. And we are working right now with Travel Report, who's in town right now, to develop a platform in Spanish to launch in Mexico, Guadalajara, and throughout Mexico by the end of this fiscal year. And very quickly, we continue to collaborate with our area DMOs to promote the area via FAMs, trade shows, sales missions. And we just completed a 3-year, how many meetings did we have, Greg? Like 20 meetings?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
We just completed a 3-year strategic plan with the Reno Tahoe territory and Travel Nevada that will launch by the end of the fiscal year. And that's really going to give us a lot of a roadmap for how we operate more collaboratively in the destination. And finally, this slide shows a third-party room night production for fiscal years 18 through 23, and for fiscal year 24 through December, so July through December. So we aren't back to fiscal year 18 and 19 levels, but we are making our way back. And I do want to point out finally here that keep in mind that these channels are subject to hotel distribution and pricing strategies, which we don't have control over, and that certainly does impact the room night production in the third-party channel. So I want just to point that out. That concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Questions, anyone?
I have one, Madam.
Mr. Murdock?
Thanks, Madam Chair. So as Christina and Mike work with all of us on air service, is there, we've been trying to come up with something new in air service to entice airlines to come to Reno Tahoe. Is there any synergy that you could get with Mike and Christina on with your third parties to really dive into what these airlines are looking for and get some data to them saying, third parties, seasonalities and things, and tying them into, we start a new flight where you let them know there's a new flight coming from the east or wherever it may be. Are you involved in that at all? Is the tourism department involved with that?
Yes, so
Can we find a new aim?
we work very closely. We're very closely on anything that's airline related. We also are very careful not to impede on what the airport is doing as far as route planning. So.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
No,
I'm
no.
asking what you're doing to, if we have a new flight, that you guys get involved and you go to your third parties and sell the new stuff. I don't care. We've already got it covered on
Sure,
the
sure.
airline stuff.
So in April, we're conducting a sales mission in Atlanta to promote the flight coming out, the renewed flight coming out of, on Delta out of Atlanta in June.
Yeah.
So we're working collaboratively with marketing, with M&C. We're inviting tour operators, travel advisors, meeting planners, influencers. We're doing a big event at the Delta Museum. We've got that on tap. We do work with Volaris Airlines to promote all of our seasonality. One of the things that we want to do is change the mix on Volaris, which the flights are full, as you know, Rick, but they're more friends and family. So we want to change the mix to more business. We are talking through our offices in Mexico. They have deep relationships with the airlines, and they recommend that if we do a new flight out of Mexico with Volaris, they may want to do a second flight a day out of Guadalajara, which we don't recommend. So we would recommend Monterrey. And why Monterrey? Monterrey is going to build a Tesla plant. So there are some synergies there for business travel.
Do you look at geofencing and things like you're going to Atlanta? Do you call Expedia and say, hey, we're coming, do you guys have a program tied to the specific launch of the airline with geofencing and things like that? So
what we can and have done, Rick, is we look at the geofencing and we look at different messaging on the creative. So the creative, whether it's a call to action on a hotel discount or a branding message, we can certainly change that messaging on the airpath search to new air service coming to Reno.
From that airline.
Correct, correct. And not only Expedia, but Priceline and Booking.com as
That's
well.
what yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's what thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good report, thank you. Great report, thank you. A couple of weeks ago, the airport, Rick, you were there, Shiva, you were there. Airport hosted a familiarity tour, and we had some airlines there, and I think it was a fantastic event. I mean, Rick shaking his head, how good that went. One thing, talking with like Alaskan Airlines, Stephen, you were there, I forgot, my apologies. Alaskan Airlines merging with buying out Hawaiian. We want an out of Hawaii route, okay? And I said, we could go there. He goes, but, one of the main guys there, one of the executives said, it's also bringing people here. So I started thinking about this, and I said, okay, and Mike, you'll agree with me on this one, they go to Vegas a lot because Vegas has a lot to offer. I feel we have more. And what I'd like to see on something like this, what can we do to create, and I know we already have it, but trying to work with some of these airlines saying, we want this route, this is what we can offer, give with the casino people, come up with packages. I think we have, my personal opinion is we have so much more to offer to Vegas. We got Tahoe, we got their community, we have Virginia City, we have Donner Lake, we have just so much more. So it's, creating that two-way traffic, which I hadn't really thought about. I just thought about us getting there, but let's get those people here as well to make both sides of that flight profitable. And I'd like us to see working with the airport even more. We're working great together already, but let's tighten that up even more. You know, this Volaris, I've done that going down to Guadalajara a couple times, great flight, but you're right, it's family and friends. We need to expand that. How can we sell ourselves even more in creating, when we come up with these new routes, what we have to offer here? And I think we can just really knock the, home run on this one. And I'd like to see more of that too.
You know, one of the things, Mr. J, is that we're identifying tour operators in Mexico that are already selling a lot of ski, but not here. So whether it's, Vail or Breckenridge or Western Canada, but get them to come here, get them to come here. The group that came in yesterday, they indicated that they saw several couples that are coming up here to ski. Right, so we need to tap into that, and we're doing that right now, educating them that, hey, you have a nonstop flight out of Guadalajara.
What can we do from the airport? How can, we got a great partnership here. We need to take advantage of both sides of this, and whatever we can do to help promote this even more. Our marketing teams, Natalie's doing a great job. I know you and Natalie have been working really closely.
Yeah,
So
weekly.
let's tighten that up. Let's bring more tourists here. Let's get more, butts and seats, heads and beds and things like that. So let's, push that as much as we can. Whatever I can do, let me know I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Coordinator. Thank you, Art. Good morning, Courtney Jager, Vice President of Finance. For the finance portion of this presentation, I wanted to provide an update on room tax performance. The first 6 months of the year combined overall were positive. We saw increases in occupied rooms and average daily rates, leading to taxable room revenues that exceeded the prior year by 2%. However, we have seen a shift in trends from Q1 to Q2. Q1 was really strong. You probably recall that September was the highest month on record for taxable room revenues. However, for Q2, we did see a change in trends. For each month of Q2 consistently, we saw decreases in both occupied rooms and average rates from the prior year. This has led to taxable room revenues being down 7% from the prior year for Q2. So here we have a closer look at occupied rooms by segment. For Q1, we saw overall increasing or flat occupied rooms for each category. For Q2, hotels saw a 5% decrease in occupied cash rooms, and vacation rentals were flat, and most of the other categories saw decreases as well. So here are the trends for the average daily rates that are charged by the properties. For Q1, we saw flat or increasing rates for most categories, with vacation rentals having a slight decrease. For Q2, in comparison to the prior year, we saw decreases in hotels, vacation rentals, and some of the smaller segments, leading to an overall decrease in ADR of 3%. So here we have taxable room revenues by tax district. You can see that Q1 was either up or flat for all districts. For Q2, however, almost all districts were down. Reno D saw the largest percentage decrease at 12%, followed by Washoe B at 11%. So we are in the process of finalizing January room tax collections, but from our preliminary numbers, we know that this trend of decreasing taxable room revenues is going to continue. In terms of impact to the organization, you'll probably remember that when we prepared the budget augmentation, I reduced our Q2 revenue predictions as part of the considerations for that budget augmentation. We reduced our Q2 predictions from our original budget about $500,000, which ended up being spot on to how performance ended up for that quarter. For the remainder of the year, we're going to keep an eye on trends. Thankfully, our budget for this fiscal year wasn't overly aggressive. Even with these decreases, we're still 4 to 7% within our original budget. And we are seeing increases from our smaller revenue streams like penalties, interest, and investment income. So those are offsetting the small decreases in room tax revenues that we're seeing.
Courtney, did you say penalties?
Yeah, penalties and interest. We are seeing an increase in late payments, which in that case, we assess a penalty per our regulations. So it's definitely something we'll keep an eye on, and we're certainly factoring it into our trend analysis for future periods.
Madam Chair, if I may. On the, the select service properties, what are they saying? Can you tell, do you go that far down? So like the Marriotts and the Hiltons and the Hyatts?
We do. Our room tax department does talk to those, and they're expecting to see the same trends. They were who we talked to in our Q2 predictions and reducing those because it was going to be predicted to be a weak Q2, and we're expecting similar trends throughout the rest of the year.
kind of, is it,
Yeah.
you're sensing a,
Yeah, something a bit of a drop off. We don't expect that there's gonna be a dramatic shift. We expect it still to stay within the 4 to 7% range. We're hoping that summer ends up a little bit stronger, but we are thinking that spring will still show weaker numbers in comparison to the prior year. And overall with our budget, we didn't anticipate that we keep seeing the record ADRs and record rooms that we saw the last few years. I mean, that was a result of coming out of the pandemic and some of the unique positioning that we had. So we did expect a leveling off of some sort.
When will January be in?
So January is being wrapped up this week. We'll have it posted by Friday, but we are expecting about a 7% decrease in total taxable room revenues for January.
that's your trend, you're seeing it, you're.
Yeah, about 4 to 7% per month.
Madam Chair, Courtney, what is the kicker between Q1 and Q2 in both years? There's a significant drop off in, as my assumption is that during the winter months, we probably have more folks, although I know we didn't have snow until late December. So, do you have any?
Yeah, so this is,
analysis on that?
these are pretty normal trends for Q1 and Q2. We do see lower occupancy numbers in Q2 and we see higher ADRs over the summer. So these are, what you're seeing are pretty normal, but the drop off from quarter to quarter is what's concerning us.
I think it's important to note too, Mr. Allister, that obviously September was a record, all-time record month as an individual month. And so because of the surplus that we experienced in September, that is skewing the numbers a little bit as it relates to looking at Q1 versus Q2.
And Madam Chair, what was it so special about September? I mean, I thought we had great.
So the final air races was obviously a big contributor to that, right? Rates throughout the entire city were, I don't think you can find a room for less than $400 on it. So,
Minimal smoke around the area
No smoke,
also,
yeah.
yeah, really contributes.
I thought we're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, what's, I don't see any.
Courtney? Yeah, so if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead.
Any other questions for Courtney?
Just a
Mr.
quick comments, and I missed each segment to kind of ask questions, so I apologize, but I'm going back. And I do just want to touch base. I know, Richard, you brought up the FAM that was done. I want to compliment Mike and Christina, because this was it really was a collaborative, taking advantage of EDON's, State of the Economy luncheon, the airport, RSCVA, to get I think it was Alaska, Southwest and Delta that came in, but to really give them an exposure to what's going on in the area besides, I mean, we're having a discussion all the time with tourism related, but to get them out to Trick, to see the investment at the lake, to see projects like, what you're doing at J Resort, John, I mean, I think the light bulb really, I think you connected a lot of dots for them of really understanding why Reno, Tahoe is such a choice for when they're placing additional flights. So, your point on the Atlanta kickoff is huge because I think, again, it's setting that we're very much open for business, right? On a lot of different fronts, the bowlers, all these, I think it really give them an understanding of what we're doing as a region. If possible, maybe next meeting, can we get an update on the indoor track efforts?
we actually had a meeting yesterday, so it's good timing.
And then also the only last question is it was a data research firm that we contracted with.
Tourism economic,
Yes.
yes.
So are they ramped up and going right now or?
We are in the final steps. We're identifying some additional POIs within their system, but we're nearly complete with getting them completely set up in that dashboard live. Yeah, but we'll provide an update.
If I could, Madam Chair,
Yes.
just, Mr. Schwab, thank you for the recognition for the team. And just to add to that, to Mr. J's comment, the relationship between the RSCVA and the airport is stronger than it's ever been. And we are, between Christina and Natalie and Tina and myself, Darren, the entire team, and the collaboration, the communication is outstanding. And just to piggyback on your comment about the FAM that we just had, that is going to be minor leagues in the grand scheme of things when you see what we're going to do in July. I think that our participation level from the airlines for the July FAM which we're using the celebrity golf tournament at Edgewood as the anchor, is going to be tremendous. So we look forward to that, and obviously July, how well our destination shows is obviously a benefit to all of us as well. So good things to come.
Mr. Murdo. Madam Chair, I just want to thank Stephen because him having it at the Peppermint Suite was so nice. And what was, I think, real critical was you had the airlines, you had the hoteliers, that's easy. But you had Edon and all the businesses showed up. That was, to me, a whole new wrinkle in the process that makes it so much better. The wave got bigger. And you had all these businesses in there, and that was brilliant that and they get to see our products, they get to see the airlines, but it was nice that we got to interact with the Edon people. And I think it's important that the RCVA look and do more with Edon if they could to bring these companies in that are actually national companies that can send a lot of, whether it's a vacation or a meeting or a corporate client here. So it's so important right now what you guys did, Stephen. Thank you. And it's unbelievable what the synergy's building.
Any other comments? I would like to congratulate Rhonda for her recognition, well deserved, really doing everything and stepping up when it was really needed, and that made a huge difference, let alone how awesome the work you already do that most of us are aware of. And I did request, working with Courtney and HR, that these annual, which you just started in the fall, that we recognize them at our board meetings, because you all don't get to meet or see the people that are behind the scenes. Some we know, we might, many of us know Rhonda, but we could have people who are winning this award that we don't see on a daily basis. And I think it's important that the board gets to see and hear about the amazing employees we have. And I would like to, if we can, and I know it's depending on their work schedule, if they're able to come and be recognized, I'd like to do that every month for the spotlight winner. So congratulations again, well deserved. Okay, that closes item D. Let's move on to item E. E1 is a board update regarding RSCVA president and CEO search. Molly, do you want to add anything to this? I know it's probably between you and me.
Yeah, I think you had the last conversation with Winners, but I think Winner is seeking direction, with respect to the number of candidates and the timeline with respect to the CEO search. And I don't know if there's anything else you wanted me to weigh in on or.
They're anxiously waiting the meeting today because so where we sit right now, we have two candidates that are currently in the queue. And the decision today, which we talked about last month and we're still here today, is to decide if we want to move forward with the two candidates we have, or do we want to bring, she has 3 more candidates, but she has one that's ready or could be moved into the queue if we wanted 3, which originally we talked about 3. That's what we contracted with her. Last month, we had a major discussion on that, but that's going to be a board decision today. So do we want to go ahead with the 2 candidates we have? Or do we want to bring that 3rd up? And then I would like to probably call a special meeting. It'll depend on, I guess, first step. Are we going to go with the 2 we have? The timeline will be faster.
What is your, what are your thoughts?
I'm open to what the board wants. I already moved the 3rd up last month and really thought that, because initially we were thinking that we wanted 3. I think the challenge of bringing a 3rd up now, is kind of where we were before. It's timing and that background check. So we'd be pushing things out again. So that would be a downside of pushing it out further to do a 3rd background check. We are down in the queue a couple candidates. Tina and her team have assured me that their top 6, 7 people were all strong candidates. So even though we've dropped down a couple already, I don't feel like we're taking major steps downward. But the reality, and once again, kind of reminder to everybody, that's their assessment, not ours. So all of the vetting that was done was by Winners. So they ranked their candidates with their expertise. We haven't seen any of them. So that vetting process and how they ranked them is kind of relative for us of, trusting their expertise in what they're doing and doing their job. But I am open to conversation right now on where you all feel you want to go, and then I want to get this moving forward and probably call a special meeting to make this decision we feel we need to make. So I'm open to the floor, Mayor.
I think Eddie has to sign on first.
Oh, I didn't turn left.
No, no worries.
Thanks, Eddie.
So Madam Chair, I mentioned this at our last meeting and I was reviewing the records and in July, when we voted to approve the contract for Winners Partners, they did say that they were we were adamant about this process of keeping it as removed, allowing the experts to do what they're supposed to do, and then bring us their qualified candidates that fit within a certain tier. And they did say 2 to 3. And I do remember that conversation, that there was 2 to 3 of the top candidates that will be brought to us. And I feel that through this process, we have met the intent of what they said they were going to do. They've brought us 3, maybe even 4 at some point, but 2 or 3, right? And one person decided to do what that person did. We still have 2 candidates. And I think out of respect for the top 2 candidates that they brought us, we owe it to them to interview them as a board individually, the community interview them, go through that process. And frankly, if this board does not settle on either of those 2, which, those are the top 2 that have been brought to us, we have the ability to go back and review and look at other candidates. But I think out of respect to those 2 individuals who've been identified as the top 2, my hope is that this board moves forward in interviewing them as quickly as possible, getting the community to interview them as quickly as possible, and then have a special meeting as soon as possible.
Okay. Other thoughts? Mr. J.
Agree with Eddie 100%. We contracted with this, we had it for whatever reason, people dropped out. I think we met our initial commitment. We have 2 strong candidates right now, have to be both of them are local. Okay, fair enough. But I think, it's time for us to move forward, take that final step, name a CEO, so we can really start, for lack of better words, kicking butt, moving forward and taking us where we need to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments?
No, I guess, if there are no other comments, I'm happy to make a motion to move forward with the 2 candidates we have and to also have a special meeting as soon as possible so we can move forward, because this has been delayed quite a long time and I think everyone is ready to go. So there's my motion.
Okay, I have a motion to move forward with 2 candidates. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. East, sorry, I think you guys tied. Any discussion, any further comments or discussion from the board?
I have a question to legal, Madam Chair. So we're voting on moving forward with 2 candidates and advising winners at that step. Are we going to make a decision on when the interviews start today, since we're all here, we have our calendars in front of us? Is that something we can be proactive in finding a date to do today?
So we can. So the interviews take place at the public meeting. We can set that meeting date if we want. We also have winner partners that needs to be involved. It might make sense to maybe have Mira poll everybody after this meeting with some potential dates and find the one that works for everybody, including winners, instead of trying to set it here today. Because if we set it today between everybody, we've still got to deal with winners and the candidates. So I would recommend, and I know we can do it quickly. We can get that date on the calendar in the next day or 2, but I think that'd be.
That's not something officially we need to do to set it?
No.
Okay.
Just to
Mr.
clarify,
Spargo?
we are keeping the model in place, correct? Are we still having one-on-ones with the members? And then there'll be a public aspect.
And there's a public interview.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have this. So the format we had before, that you all had arranged for a 30-minute one-on-one with the candidates, would just be with 2 candidates instead of 3. So that'll be a little more streamlined. And then we will have the meet and greet with our community stakeholders that Mira keeps putting on pause and telling them, we will get back to them with the date as soon as we can. So community stakeholders and then with senior staff as well. So that same format would be the same. And then the actual meeting itself would be an open public meeting where they do a presentation. It's exactly what Tina had set up for us, a presentation to the board, a question and answer period from each candidate separately, and then deliberation by the board and a decision. So all of that stays the same. The difference would be if we have two instead of three, would be the only difference right now. But yeah, that format would be the same. And then, as far as timing, I want to call a special meeting. I don't want to wait until March. We've got a lot of business for March that the last 2 months I've been pushing, regular committee business aside for us to get this done. And so from staff perspective, we've got an airport consultant coming out. I have Lieutenant Governor I'm trying to book. So things we want to still get done at the March meeting. I want to do a special meeting before that. And I'll talk to Winners and have her look at her calendars. But my target is the first or second week in March. And as soon as I get a date from Winners, when we finish here, I'll give Tina a call, get dates from her, and then Mira will reach out to all of you. And we have to make sure both candidates are available too, obviously, most important. So, other questions?
Quick question, can we as a board hopefully commit by the end of the day our calendars that were available? Because ideally, and I know we have to work with Winners, but the way I think they kind of work for us, we contract with them. So in the ideal world, if we can get these interviews done sometime next week. No way.
No, that's too quick. And keep in mind too, Winners is contracted with a lot of they've got other business and other searches they're doing. And so their calendars have to be clear, because even though our candidates are both local, which makes that easier for booking hotels, booking airfare, Tina and her team, so probably Tina and Dennis, will be coming out. And I've asked them to anticipate in the first 2 weeks of March. So I'll have a date. I'll have a date today from her.
Hopefully maybe the first week, because that gives us all of next week.
We'll see when they're available. Yeah, and we'll also double check the candidates.
They're not on the line.
No, I think they're watching the meeting, but we also have another candidate who's not sitting here in the room that we haven't talked to. So all of those things, I know everyone is really wants to get this moving, but whether it's a week or two, I don't think that makes a tremendous amount of difference, as long as we get it done, and then we have a regular March meeting, okay? And that's also for stakeholders. We can't give our stakeholders a few days' notice if we want to have the participation, get that on their calendars too.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Hill? Oh, okay. Mr. East? Okay. Mr. Murdoch?
I'd really like to see, because we're paying Winners and the clock's ticking, I'd really like to see them adhere to what we need. They work for us. So Richard, I'm just saying, I want to move the ball like that because they work for us. They've been selecting the candidates. It's time to go. They got to be available to us.
Well, agreed, but Rick, they have other clients as well. We're not the only ones. So it wouldn't make any sense. They've done all this work and then we decide to pick a date that they can't get out here. Would make no sense. So I know that she's anticipating the first 2 weeks of March, and I will talk to her to get a date, and then we'll get it. I'll have Mary get it out to the board. Any other questions or discussion?
No, I just would say, I'm not so sure, and maybe I'm wrong, Mr. Murdoch, but I was just, with that conversation, it would have been nice to maybe have them on the agenda today to give us a little bit of feedback. We haven't heard from them in a while. Like you said, they work for us, and yes, they have other clients, but when's the last time we heard from them? So I just kind of thought it would.
Molly and I have been in constant communication.
Well, we haven't, so
Right.
the board needs to be involved as
Okay.
well. So that's all I'm saying is that,
Okay.
it might be nice to hear from them, or, and maybe Molly, I don't know if this is something maybe, we could set up a time. I'd like it to be transparent and out in the open, but where we, have a phone call with them or just, check in. Because I know you've been doing it, but none of us have, so I kind of feel a little bit like, where are they at and how are they feeling? And, that's kind of their sort of expertise, so.
It is, and they've been on pause. Basically, we've put them on pause. So we put them on.
Could have come,
Yeah,
and
we
maybe
put,
given us a little bit of a.
well, and I know that Tina is watching the meeting today because I've had them on hold. I mean, there's nothing they can do right now. They've given us our candidates. They know who the next in line is. We put them, we went on pause when we were trying to bring a third candidate up. Then we went on pause with the investigation. Now today is our decision if we still want the two that we have or if we want more, and she's ready to roll. So she's ready. I mean, there's
Okay,
nothing more to really update. She's ready to roll and ready with that other candidate if we want him, and if we don't, then we'll book it and she'll get the dates.
Okay.
So we'll be good to go.
Okay.
I'd like to call for a vote.
Okay,
Got a motion is.
I've got a motion, a second, and all discussion.
Just real quick on
Mr.
discussion,
Swaga.
I'm assuming though, going back to Winters, will we get some sort of what sort of summary from what they went through, what the candidates, again, instead of just, okay, here's your two names, I'm
Yeah.
assuming there was thought and,
Yeah.
right, I know there was.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of process, they worked hard on getting us here.
Mhm.
But I think to your point, whether it would have been today, which would have been ideal, I think having some input from the search firm that we empowered greatly because
Right.
we wanted to bring the best candidates forward. But I think having them kind of walk through the process, what they went through would be great.
Okay, so summary from Winters, some basically what the process was and kind of here we are today. Absolutely, I can ask her for that.
And just so you know, as part of your board packet for the interview process, you will have all of that additional information about each candidate. They did not provide it for this meeting because we weren't interviewing those candidates and we're waiting for a decision for whether or not you would have 3 or 2. So at that, you will get that in advance of the meeting as part of your board packet that gives you all of that additional information related to each of the candidates.
All right, okay, I got a motion, I got a second. Any more discussion? Final chance? No? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay. And we will get back to you later today. I'll get in touch with Tina and we'll get a date from her, and then Mira will reach out to all of you and we'll get it on our calendars. Item F, board member announcements, reports and updates. Mr. Edelson.
You're on.
All right. Madam Chair, members, I have a statement that I'd like to read on behalf of the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce, which I am the member representing them on this board. I worked with them on preparing a comment. As a proud board member of the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce on this great authority, the Chamber is committed to upholding the integrity and reputation of our local businesses and organizations, including the RSCVA. It is our collective duty to foster a safe, respectful, and ethical workplace environment. We are dedicated to the investigating and addressing any workplace allegations with seriousness they deserve. However, it has come to our attention that there have been attempts to misuse the reporting process through anonymous complaints that lack substantiation and appear to aim solely at damaging reputations. Let me be clear, while we encourage individuals to come forward with genuine concerns, using the veil of anonymity to levy unfounded accusations and engage in character assassination is not only unethical, but it's an act of cowardice. Abusing the reporting process in such a manner undermines the very foundation of trust and accountability we strive to build within our community. It diverts valuable resources away from addressing legitimate issues and creates an atmosphere of suspicion and fear, which is contrary to the principles of fairness and justice. As a board member of the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitor Authority, the Chamber stands firmly against any form of extortion or manipulation aimed at injuring someone's reputation without cause. We will not be swayed by baseless allegations designed to harm rather than to heal. Our commitment is to fairness, due process, and the protection of all parties involved, ensuring that our approach to workplace allegations is balanced and just. On behalf of the Chamber, let this serve as a reminder that the RSCVA will continue to uphold the highest standards of integrity and professionalism. We will not tolerate any actions that seek to undermine these values or the reputations of those like Mike Larraguetta, who work tirelessly to contribute to the community's prosperity. To those who seek to report wrongdoing, know that your voice is important and will be heard with the respect and attention it deserves. To others who may consider misusing this process for personal vendettas,
Know that such actions will not be entertained or tolerated. Our commitment to justice and integrity remains unwavering and will continue to protect and promote the best interests of this community and the tourism that drives our economy. Eddie Avlasser, along with Board Chair Mike Hicks and Ann Silver, CEO. I'm going to email this to our board clerk so it can be introduced into the minutes and record. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm looking for the other one.
Yeah.
Mr. J.
Thank you.
I knew that, I knew.
Yeah, I know. I'll do the airport, got quite a few things, and a couple things, others. RTAA just received a $7 million FAA grant for our terminal airport program, which was part of this bipartisan infrastructure law. Funds will support the airport's central utility plant. Can't even pronounce it, but anyway, that will support our 2 new concourses. This plant is about 90% complete, so this is a huge thing for the airport. $7 million coming in. Senator Rosen helped get that for us. Construction update, ticketing hall, our grand event opening will be April 11th at 11 a.m. The invitations will be going out to the entire board. As I said, I've walked it, and I walked it again last week. Unbelievable. The lighting in that is going to be so nice because it's all natural lighting coming in. You guys are going to be blown away. They're working on all the floor right now, and just unbelievable. There'll be continuous construction on the roadway in front of the ticketing hall for just a little bit, so continue to watch the signage out there. Update on the Atlanta Delta flight begins year-round service on June 7th. Atlanta is huge because Atlanta goes to so many places. Atlanta for a while, and I don't know if they still are, the largest airport in the world. And, you know, when you fly in Atlanta, you can go anywhere you want. We're going to Africa in September, and we get a direct flight from Atlanta to Cape Town. So that's really cool. I'm excited about that. Seasonal routes returning to Austin, Texas, Chicago, beginning March or June, depending on the route. The familiarity tour that Rick and Stephen, myself, and the mayor was at, I'm telling you, you know, the view from up there early on, everybody's just looking out there on the 17th floor, looking around saying, wow. And I said, this is the $1 billion view. You can't get this anywhere else. And I think they were impressed. Everybody that was there, and I would encourage, you know, the July one you were talking about, let's really make an impact there. We will have our air services and marketing consultants in, I guess, on the April 25th meeting. From what I understand, consultants Kurt and Scott will overview the airport service development strategy as well as marketing strategy, support it. So I should imagine you and Natalie will be working real close with that one. So with that, that takes care of the airport. 2 things I would like to ask for future agenda items. One is I'd like us to pursue a policy and possible declaration recognizing our desire to buy local and support minority-owned, women-owned businesses. I know we do it a lot. We do a good job, but I think let's take this to the next level and let's formally have a proclamation that we can issue saying we support this. I know we can't do it all locally, you know, the race, you know, the track, obviously that can't be done locally, but we want to encourage that and let local businesses know that we're here for you. We're a local entity. We recognize you as being a local business owner. We're going to do everything that we can within our power. Not happen all the time, but I think this would just be a good statement for us coming out saying, we're here as your partner. The next item I'd like to have for an agenda item for review and discussion is having a review of our HR policies. Now, right now, it's up here, and what we come up with as a board obviously be whittled down. We're at the 10,000 foot level right now, but I think we need to have somebody come in from the outside and just say, you know, from board direction, what are we looking for? What needs to be reviewed? What needs to be updated? What needs to be implemented? I think it'd just be good because it's always good sometimes to have an outside set of eyes look at things. Not that I'm saying, you know, we're doing anything wrong or anything like that, but sometimes on these things, it's just good to have an objective viewpoint come in and just make us even better than what we are. So I know there's a couple local companies that do this. I've worked with them in the past, but obviously we would have to go through a process. I totally understand that. But I think it would be in our best interest just to review that. And even if they come back and say, there's absolutely nothing wrong, everything looks great, at least that validates what we're doing. Or maybe they come, well, tweak this, tweak that, and do that, whatever it might be. We just don't know what it is. But I think it would be behoove us to do this. What do we have to lose? So I'd like to see those two items on our agenda for the next regular state meeting. Thank you very much.
And Mr. J, to your point on policy, I had a conversation with Mr. Kennedy and even our board policies that are in our binders.
Mhm.
How long you've been, I've only been here 3 years. Overall overreaching policy itself, which, what did you tell me about it? That I should be doing it, but
Well, I think it's old, it's outdated, it needs to be updated, and it's just never been it's always been a back burner item.
So let's put it to the front burner and say
Yeah.
HR and overall, and if we need to put a committee together, so let it be.
well, and it's something that could come to, yeah, we have a couple people working on that. It can go through executive legislative subcommittee with some ideas, but when I mentioned it to him, just overall policy, like in any organization, and I know we do it in the city, how many times do you look and things aren't needed or things we don't have, where there are gaps, and a refresh of those policies. So it might be a good opportunity to look at how we're operating and things that we go back to policy and go, oh, shoot, we should be doing this, or why is there no policy for what, we thought was there? So, a refresh of that, we give us an opportunity to do that.
I think it only helps us in the long run.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other board updates or announcements? Commissioner Hill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was hoping that we could have the Tahoe Destination Stewardship Council come and present to us about what they've been up to. It's a collaborative of all of the different tourism jurisdictions around the lake, and RSCVA is also a member of that, and they are up to some really exciting things, and it would be great if the board could hear an update about what the vision is there. Thank
Okay,
you.
absolutely. We'll look at the future agenda, reach out to them and try to get them scheduled. Thank you. You have contact information? Well, I guess,
And so does.
right back there. I also, I'm looking at Ben. Never mind, I know who our contact is. Okay, so Ben will work on that. Any other announcements, updates, Mr.
Just
Swaga?
one other question, and I'm just, again, I know this was kind of a unique meeting in the sense that we didn't have really a packet to review prior to, and including minutes, we approved minutes as part of the consent agenda, again, it's pretty, I just want to highlight, I don't know if there's a way to go back and go into more detail, but when you look at the meeting minutes from last, meeting regarding the TARP program up at the lake, it was a pretty extensive discussion, right?
Very small minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is a one sentence summary. I think we should, for the record, go back and add some detail to that comment. I think the other stuff was pretty well covered, but again, I think we want to have record of what the discussion was, because we're gonna be back discussing things similar, right, tied to this, including, if there's a presentation from the lake. But I do think we have to make a decision on how to take them. But
Sure, so we did approve them at the beginning of the meeting, but I think we can have a future agenda item to review, maybe like some amended minutes.
yeah,
We
more
can amend
detail.
that.
I'm fine with keeping the approval. I just think, for the sake of record, we gotta get a more detailed version.
Sure, so we can ask the court bring that back at the next meeting.
Not everybody's gonna wanna go back and watch the meeting, correct? The details are, but I appreciate that, Mr. Swaga, because there was an important discussion, and it was a really robust discussion that was had, and lots of information that everyone brought and their thoughts on it, so we'll go ahead and work on maybe amended that we can add to next month's agenda. Okay? Mr. Lund?
In regard to, thank you.
First of all,
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
I'm so sorry, I didn't welcome you in the beginning.
Oh, no, that's fine. I do want to say thank you to the board members, to legal counsel, to Madam Chair for welcoming me so far, being my first meeting. It's kind of intimidating, but I appreciate everybody being on my side, and I look forward to being on the side of this board. But in regards to the TARP Connect, I just wanted to give a quick update on that. Since the board rejected the funding that we asked for last month, we have reduced service starting March 1st from 14 hours a day to 6 hours. And that messaging is starting to go out to the community, and that's in the zone 3, the Crystal Bay Incline zone. We are hoping to be on the RTC agenda in March to ask for funding from that group. And hope to be back on the agenda of the RSCVA, in future months.
Okay,
Madam Chair.
Mr. Murdock.
I would invite Incline to, I appreciate what you just said. I would invite IBGIV to be part of this because I firmly believe as a body, we should support anything we can that helps everybody. But at some point, you gotta help yourselves. So somebody up there needs to throw in some money as well.
Absolutely.
So I hope that message could, you know, in fairness, playing with all of us will contribute, but you gotta contribute. So hopefully we can get that straight.
Yeah, I think with the initial messaging going out, I think it has ruffled some feathers around from various organizations. So we're hoping that, you know, we can receive more funding to provide that very valuable service to both tourists and to the locals.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilman Levy, I would just like to, support, putting that discussion on the agenda within, yeah, because I think there's some other information that, since I've been learning about sort of their infrastructure and the tourism side of things, that I think would be important for the board to have the same information, that wasn't brought to us last time. So I would be in support of having that item back on the agenda as well.
Madam Chair, I might add too that Mr. Largetta and myself, we are on the Tourism Commission. You can apply, it's timed out, but you can apply for monies from the NCO, you know, that Commission on Tourism. Sure. But it's just gonna be, the money would come later if you present your case. Absolutely. So I think, don't let that out of your preview that you guys could go to the NCOT for some funding for that. It's important because that's what they do that by counties or regions. Sure. You guys have an opportunity there.
Thank you.
And I would also add that the sooner the better, if we could put it on the March agenda. Okay, that would be great, especially in the reduction of service. So I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, any other updates, comments? Seeing none, I'm going to move to public comment. Do we have public comment?
None at this time.
You have none?